Hi, my name is Jen and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about the riots that ensued in Malmö after a copy of the Quran was burned. We're going to talk about what happens when you burn a Quran in the multicultural paradise that is Sweden today. I'm going to use some footage that is much unappreciated by the YouTube overlords, so I decided to not even try to monetize this video. If you would like this, and when you demonetize something, it's also not as pushed by YouTube algorithm and so forth. So the best way to get this word out there, to get this video out there, is to share it on other social media platforms. That is very, very appreciated. If you would like to support my channel further, I do have a PayPal and a Patreon linked in the description. So let's get into today's video. 3 weeks ago, the Danish Stram Kurs party leader Rasmus Paludan and the provocateur artist Don Park announced that they would be burning a Quran in the Muslim-populated area of Malmö, Rosengård. This was meant to provoke a reaction and was not granted approval by the police. When the party leader was on his way to Malmö, he was stopped at the border and he has been banned from entering the country for 2 years. But this did not stop his supporters from filming themselves burning one copy of the Quran and kicking another around Malmö's main square like a football, for which 3 of them were arrested for suspicion of hate crime. So far, 1 person has been banned from entering the country for his intent to burn the Quran, and 3 people have been arrested for playing ball with the Quran. Parts of the Muslim and immigrant population were pissed off when they saw footage of this happening, and they went out to riot on Friday night. Here is footage from that. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! I am actually not for burning religious text. I would never go out myself to burn a Bible or a Quran or a Torah to provoke a reaction or to be edgy. I am, however, for anyone to be allowed to do so. We do not have any blasphemy laws here. It is completely illegal, and anyone is allowed to burn any book that they please. People have, of course, already compared this to the book burnings of our past, but burning one book out of hundreds of millions of other copies is not the same as what happened in the 30s, where the purpose was to get rid of the text entirely. It is not either the same as when in the past entire libraries were burned down by conquerors for the sole purpose of destroying history. The reaction to the Quran burning is not justified, although the mainstream have done everything they can to minimize the riots and to put the blame back onto the provocateurs who did not in fact break any laws. The media are also trying to push the narrative that these rioters were not real Muslims. This is a quote from an SVT article in which they try to downplay the rioting. It says, "It's bad. We left our homeland to not see these types of things. But it's wrong of them to burn the Quran," says Shahid, who lives close to yesterday's protests. Do you think it's right to start these kinds of riots? It's not right, but it wouldn't have happened if they didn't burn the Quran. An imam from the neighboring town is also used by the media to try and dissociate Islam from the riots. He did a good thing by going to the riots to try and talk some sense into the rioters, but to no avail. He says in his live video on Facebook that I saw that these rioters were mostly young men, newly arrived migrants who were looking for trouble. They were chanting the name of their God, but had little understanding of the preachings, the Imam claims. He claims to have seen a wild eager in them to destroy their own neighborhood. SVT Media, and now also The Guardian, will only quote him saying that these are not real Muslims, not the part in which he condemns these newly arrived migrants and where he speaks of their eagerness to destroy. That part is downplayed. Notable reactions from big names in Swedish politics and media are former Prime Minister Carl Bildt tweeting out, "Burning books shall never be accepted," and the political editor-in-chief at the biggest newspaper Aftonbladet, Anders Lindberg, tweeting, "When you burn books, people soon burn too." The mainstream reaction is to just accept that rioting will ensue if you dare disrespect the Holy Quran. I think we are too quick to gloss over just how non-Swedish this behavior is that is playing out right now. Imagine, if you are a Swede watching this, how you and your family would react if your flag was burned, if your Bible was burned, or if your God was made fun of. Is it even an imaginable option for you to go out and riot over such a thing? I would think it's not. But for some reason, our open and kind and understanding people have become racists who have come to accept this sort of behavior and to some degree even expect it from migrants. They are painted as having no other choice but to go out and succumb to their anger because a book was burned. We are supposed to feel bad for them as they throw rocks and burning tires at the police because they are somehow the victim in all of this. This sort of rhetoric would never even be imagined to be used if this was about Christian Swedish men. They are held to a higher standard, and if that is not racist, then I think that we have lost sense of what that term used to mean. A couple of years ago, the symbol of our nation, our flag, was used in a controversial art display and in the most central part of Stockholm, Sergels Torg. This sort of display of a dying flag was seen as highly inappropriate by many, but no riots ensued. People wrote angry posts on social media, and an article was written about the critiques. When a church was recently vandalized 7 days in a row, in that same city, Malmö, resulting in lots of shattered windows and a destroyed Christ statue, and them being forced to have their Sunday service outside due to the scale of the vandalization, the priest interviewed for the news story said it was a great sadness that they couldn't just be left alone. But no riots were seen. No burning tires or rocks were thrown at the police, and no neighborhood was terrorized. At the scenes of Friday's riots, the police are seen unable to calm down the situation. They choose to not use any force against these rioters. No tear gas, no rubber bullets. This event is just another entry on an ever-growing list of incidents where Swedish authorities are shown to have lost control. Just prior to these riots, a criminal network in Sweden's second largest city, Gothenburg, put up roadblocks in a neighborhood and seemingly claimed control over an area in a blatant manner. The knee bending, both figuratively and, which I covered earlier this summer, literally, of the police in the face of the rioters and criminals is another. Add to this an unwillingness from social institutions and politicians to deal with the surging instability of Sweden. All this taken together points in the direction of a Sweden whose authorities are about to, or already have, surrendered. The reluctance of the police to use force may be seen as an attempt to de-escalate tension, which might indeed be very wise in some circumstances, but it might also indicate something else. Fear. In the eyes of these rioters and criminals, Sweden is illegitimate. Its institutions, laws, and its police force are illegitimate. Consequently, anyone who is seen as a representative of Sweden is seen as a potential enemy, which many of the horrendous crimes targeting Swedes as of late are an example of. If this trajectory isn't broken, we will encounter catastrophic results down the line. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this content, you can subscribe to my channel to see more. Like this video if you like it, and comment down below what you think and what you would like me to talk about next. I would like to give an extra thank you to all of my Patreons, who are Yup, T. Smith, Mark Schwarzberg, John Patrick, Michael Edelius, Craig Nickerson, Jim Hicks, Daniel Yu, Gramer P. Mills, Andreas Springare, Jocke Hellgren, Captain Erik Larsson, Helmut Biel, Robert T. O'Gara, Chuck Schaefer, Aiden Finn, Oskar Sandström, Sonja Alriksson, Crowley357, Brennan Bauer, Tobias Schumacher, Ivan Akarius, Adrian Betts, ASDF, Are Hågensson, Vyacheslav, Eric Bishop, Tim Bennett, Tony Patak, Laia McCarthy, Patriarken, Benjamin Dolby, Kasper Öberg, Proud Boy, Steve Olvmoon, John Sherashna, Scott Allen, Benedict Black, Ivan Andrada Mendoza, Don Lindberg, Jessica Wiener, Ville Nari, Aaron Castillo, Dwight Little, Tobias Ingvarsson, Nils Öster, and Daniel Brun. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.